This morning, we're also remembering former First Lady Rosalynn Carter, who died Sunday. She and former President Jimmy Carter were married for over 77 years, the longest of any president and First Lady. She passed away at the Carter family home in Plains, Georgia. The former First Lady had been suffering from dementia. Her son, Chip, said in a statement, his mother's life of service and compassion was an example for all Americans. The current First Lady paid tribute to Mrs. Carter yesterday.
She was well known for her efforts on mental health and caregiving and women's rights. So I hope that during the holidays, you'll consider saying include the Carter family in your prayers.
Rosalynn said on cabinet meetings and represented her husband on foreign trips as well, like many previous First Ladies. She's being remembered as a humanitarian and a champion for mental illness. She was 96.
Well, the White House Historical Association is remembering the former First Lady. Rosalynn Carter worked with the association to expand the White House's collection of paintings. She was also the honorary chair of the Committee for the Preservation of the White House. Historians say Rosalynn Carter played a big role in shaping what the Office of the First Lady does today.
It was during Rosalynn Carter's tenure that, as part of Jimmy Carter's reorganization of the executive branch, we get a little bit more insight into what exactly the Office of the First Lady is. More staff and resources are allocated for the First Lady. And ever since then, we recognize First Lady Rosalynn Carter as the one to bring together this idea of the Office of the First Lady in the East Wing. And that's where the Office of the First Lady has resided ever since.
Now, this morning, there will be an official condolence book for Mrs. Carter available for the public to sign at the White House Visitor Center.
And joining us this morning now to talk more about this is Professor Stephen Caliendo from North Central College.
And Professor Caliendo, Rosalynn Carter's impact, not enough can be said about it. Her husband, in his statement, said she was an equal partner in everything he ever achieved, and many aides called her the co-president. Talk about her impact, not only on the White House, but on the country as a whole.
That's really the thing. It's amazing how, you have such a short time in the White House. Even if they would have served a second term, it's only 8 years. But she really leveraged the power that came with that, the notoriety that came with that into a life much longer than a career of serving others. And so that's really the important part. And I think what we're going to remember most about Rosalynn Carter is not necessarily what she did in the White House, although, as Mr. Costello said, she did help pivot the office of the First Lady. But what Rosalynn Carter did the rest of her life is at least as important.
Professor Caliendo, former President Jimmy Carter really had a second act after his presidency with his humanitarian work. How much was his wife a part of that? And to your knowledge, was there any cause she pushed him to help support?
I don't have the inside information on that. I wish I did, but I will tell you that she was by his side through all of it. And really, I think what we might more appropriately say is he was by her side on so many of these. We think about now having meaningful discussions about mental illness and mental health broadly. But that wasn't in the 1980s when she was really starting to take that on. She was on the edge of what society was ready to talk about, and so she helped get us here. And he was very much supportive of those efforts for her.
So much has been made about how she made such an impact on what future First Ladies would do. She was said to be more political than her husband even, and when he didn't win that second term, apparently they say she took it harder than he did. Why didn't she ever run for office? Was there ever any talk about that? We hear that a lot when you have First Ladies that are well-liked.
You bet, and the questions are, really centered on the notions of sexism, particularly electorally in those times. Not that we're past it today, certainly, but at least we have models of strong women serving. There were women that, of course, had served, and she could have made that decision, but I think she decided, she saw what happened to her husband, who we'll be talking about at some point, is a very, very good man, whether or not you thought he was a good president or not. Does that translate into being a good president? But she saw what happened to him, and I can't imagine that she wanted to have that happen to her family again.
Dr. Stephen Caliendo, we appreciate you, as always, for helping us to expand our coverage this morning on such a wonderful woman.
A wonderful woman indeed, and I hope you all have a great day.
Take care. Happy holidays to you.